Maybe they don't know. If residents of Antarctica will be warming up. For them, yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening to you all. It's absolutely wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for coming on this very special occasion. And thank you so much to Birdworld, to Mark Anderson and his team for having us here and then allowing us to enjoy all this wonderful penguinness. Because that's what we're celebrating this evening. Firstly, penguinness. And secondly, the launch of Soft Courage, the book which Yannick Penguin has written. In fact, the first true life fable to have been written by a penguin. So it's quite a unique moment. And we're delighted to be here to celebrate this. So we're going to have an official launch in a minute, and our top dignitary here, Red, is going to do us the honours. Apparently, unbeknown to many people, over the centuries their beaks have been evolved to get really sharp, so they're perfect for cutting ribbons. So many of you will know that part of my work is collecting peace messages from people to send out to the far high spots of the planet. A peace message being something from the heart of an individual, something like a pledge for the environment or prayer or words about peace. So to start the proceedings in the right feeling, we've got some youngsters here who are going to do a couple of little peace messages, just so that our meeting today is set in a lovely feeling of peace and harmony, not only for humanity, but of course for the important penguin people of the world. So my grandchildren who are unable to be here tonight sent 3 little messages, so we'll start with their messages, and then our youngsters here are going to speak their messages. My eldest, Elsie, age 8, says, "I will help find shelter for the penguins." My 6-year-old Bessie sends the message, "Huddle together for planet Earth." And my 5-year-old Bodie says, "Let there be enough sardines for all the world's penguins." So, Teddy, would you like to come and do your message, sweetheart? It's not going to work.
Anybody here then? No. It's all gone off.
I like penguins because they waddle and the way they waddle is really funny, and I like to sing when they dive in and because they don't make a big splash.
Lovely.
Josh?
I like penguins because they're funny and they are fast.
Thank you, Josh.
Aruna, would you like to be next?
I wish that Arctic is clean and the penguins are happy and healthy.
Huh?
Jim. We have Gemma. Age, how old are you, Gemma? Gemma, age 7.
I wish that we don't harm the penguins in any way, and I wish the penguins good luck.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's absolutely wonderful. Now, having set the intention of thinking about the world and our animal species in particular, I would like to introduce you to our dignitary Red, who is delighted to do the honours here for the official launch of the book. Now, as we said, having evolved over the centuries with very sharp beaks, he should be able to do the official moment, but we do have a pair of scissors just in case. Oh, no, right. So, Red, we would like to hereby, what do you think, mate? Yeah, it's very important. We are sending soft courage out into the world. So may soft courage spread across the globe and send peace and harmony and inspiration and fun and penguinness. Thank you. Namaste, Red. The best dignitary around, I think, here. So now I'm going to hand over to Alice, who's going to tell us a bit more about the penguins here at Birdworld.
Hello.
Hello.
Now, welcome to Penguin Beach. So we always start off a little bit about telling you about the exhibit that you're standing in, first of all. So it's actually built back in 2011, and it's actually based on Robben Island, which is found off the coast of Cape Town, so out in South Africa. And over the years, Robben Island's had many different uses. So originally it was a place for sailors to stop off and get fresh supplies of food and water. It's also been a hospital for people suffering from chronically ill diseases such as leprosy. But it's most well known for being a prison, and its most famous inmate was actually Nelson Mandela. So he actually spent about 18 of his 27 years of imprisonment out on Robben Island. Nowadays, though, the island itself has become a museum and a World Heritage Site. So it's considered a really safe and secure haven for lots of different types of wildlife. There's actually 23 species of mammal, and there's 132 species of bird that you can find on the island. So obviously you're all here to see the penguins this evening, and they are one of the most popular ones out on the island itself. But all the other birds in the exhibit can be found out there. So we're just trying to give you a little taste of what it's like, really. But the penguins that we've got here, they are African penguins, and they are actually one of 17 different types of penguin that you can find throughout the world. Most people are surprised to learn that there are even penguins in Africa, because we tend to associate them with cold places, definitely habitats that have got snow on the ground, but actually there's quite a few different species that do prefer warmer climates. And although they are living out in those warmer countries, they're still swimming in really cool waters. So there are some out in South America, Australia, New Zealand. You'll actually never find a species of penguin in the very northern hemisphere of the world. So I'm afraid to tell you that all those Christmas cards and storybooks where you have polar bears alongside penguins isn't actually true. They never meet each other out in the wild, so that shatters a few people's images and dreams, I think, sometimes. But these guys, they are perfectly designed for life out there. They are birds as well, which again is something that some people don't realise. They do have wings, they don't fly through the air like other birds, but they definitely fly through the water. And they've got 3 main swimming styles that they use. There is one having a little paddle around in the water at the moment. All the others are like, why is there lots of people here, I think. But the first one's surface swimming, and that's where you see them swimming along the top of the water. They've got their heads above, and really they'll be looking out for groups of seabirds, which is normally a really good indicator that there's a shoal of fish for these guys to go and gobble up. Second type's called underwater flying, which is when they've dived down into the water. They are literally flying through it using their nice sort of torpedo-shaped body, and that little tail helps to actually change direction, so it's a bit like a rudder on a boat. The last type of swimming is the most exciting form. It's called porpoising. It's very similar to what you see dolphins doing in the wild, where they jump in and out of the water at high speeds. And these guys can reach sort of 20 to 30 miles per hour when they do that. They actually tend to save it for the longer fishing trips. It helps reserve their energy quite nicely, really. Our penguins tend to do porpoising when they're excited or feeling playful. And obviously they have to be in the water for that to happen. So I don't think we're going to see any of that this evening. Now, they do eat fish, and the most sort of common prey for these guys is anchovies and sardines, but they'll also take things like squid and crustaceans as well. We actually feed them on sprats here at Birdworld, just a very similar fish to the same as what they eat in the wild, really. And they've got some really sharp, powerful beaks for grabbing hold of those slippery prey. Once they've got hold of that fish, they don't want to let it go. So penguins actually have a very spiky tongue, and the roof of their mouth is also quite spiky, and that helps them to keep a really good grip on that fish once they've got it. They also have a habit of always swallowing their fish head first, and that's simply the most comfortable way to do so. So normally when they feed, they sort of spin it round and make sure it goes head first. It's like they learn from quite a young age, really. They actually work together when it comes to fishing, so they fish cooperatively. They force the fish into forming a nice big bait ball, and then each penguin takes it in turn to split that ball of fish up, swimming through it and grabbing as many fish as it possibly can along the way. The average dive is going to last about 3.5 minutes, and they can dive to depths of 30 to 60 metres, although 130 metres has also been recorded with this species. So they're actually really, really efficient at catching those fish out in the wild. Now they have got predators, but these guys have got a couple of things to help keep them safe in the wild. They are capable of outswimming a lot of their predators in the water, and they've got excellent camouflage. Now you might think that black and white is a terrible choice for camouflage, but it actually works very well out in the ocean. You can kind of see a little bit with our sort of natural pool here. When you're looking down into the water, it's normally quite dark and quite black. So when a penguin's swimming along beneath you, that black back is going to help them to blend in. And then equally from the bottom, if you were looking up, it's going to be quite bright and white from that sunlight. So again, if that penguin's swimming along above you, their white belly is going to help them to blend in. They've got that distinctive horseshoe shape on their belly again, which is going to help to kind of break up their silhouette. It's called counter shading, so it's very simple but very effective camouflage for these guys out in the wild. Now, just quickly a little bit about our colony here. We have currently got 35 African penguins in here. We need to be able to recognise all of our penguins as individuals, and that can be quite challenging because you've probably noticed they all look quite similar to one another. But if you do have a little look on their belly, you'll see they've got a pattern of spots, and that's individual to each penguin. So it's a little bit like your fingerprint, really. So we could learn all of the individual spot patterns. That isn't always very practical, and it would involve quite a lot of spot pattern memorising. So you will notice they've been fitted with these little tags on their flippers. It's just like wearing a little bracelet, really. They've got individual numbers on them. Some of them have got coloured ones, such as red here. It's a good idea of how we know who red is, because he has a red tag, so it's pretty easy. But occasionally those tags fall off. We're pretty sure the penguins take them off to make our job harder. So they're all microchipped as well, so we've always got a definite way, really, of knowing who is who. If you have a little look down at the colony, you've probably noticed there are a few that do look a little bit different. They're not black and white, that's our juveniles. So these are the youngsters that we've bred over the last year, really. All of the ones down in the colony are actually all parent reared, so they've done really well. Since the exhibit was built, we really have increased the numbers hugely in here. And currently they are actually busy nesting, so they're not all out at the moment because there are actually some over in those nest boxes looking after some eggs. So we're going to have some more babies in the next few months. It's actually only just over a week away, the first ones are due to hatch, so we're going to be quite busy making sure they get all that they need to get ready. Very last thing is why Red is up here with us. It's because he's a hand-reared penguin, so he's one of the ones that we've actually looked after since he hatched out of his egg. In fact, we looked after him as an egg as well. So he does tend to hang out with us a little bit more. He thinks he's a little human in a penguin costume. If we're not in here, he will mix with the rest of the colony, but he really does still prefer to be with us, and he loves Zoe, because Zoe was one of the main ones to look after him when he was young. So I'm going to now hand back over to Tess.
Thank you, Alice.
Very good. Yeah.
Thank you, Alice. I think this is the first time we've all been got over a barrel by a penguin. So the next item on the programme is back up in the restaurant, where there's some drink and some food. I think we've probably run out of sardines, I'm afraid, but there'll be some other stuff, and there's some raffle tickets to buy so that we can support the African penguins, which is part of the purpose of this evening. I think, in fact, if I've got it right, that the population has been reduced by 90% on Robben Island,
Sure.
which is a bit like 60 million people in Britain suddenly being reduced to 6 million. So it's something that really needs help, and it'd be lovely if everybody can buy lots of raffle tickets. We've got some wonderful prizes to support tonight. So let's head up back to the restaurant.